Specifically about the water supply targeted by malicious acts. We have seen that these acts are not a vision of the mind, they exist. There are real possibilities, but remember also that they are not necessarily only linked to terrorism, but vandalism, revenge, insane people. We have a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of possibilities. The protection of this infrastructure that is ours requires some skills that we didn't have in the past. Due to the elevation of the risk, we now have to get those new skills inside the utility, which is something new, and it's getting better and better, but still we have a lot of work to do. We have new technologies also. Diego just yesterday told us about this new technology and the cost for improving the protection. We also have to understand that terrorist acts are not like natural hazards, since those terrorist acts aim at doing the maximum of damage. That means that you can certainly think of having multiple simultaneous acts. This is something very probable. And the worst thing is that you may certainly be sure that those terrorists, they know approximately how you will react, and they have taken this into account in their plan. So at the end, this is the transition with the next part of my presentation. Whether we want it or not, we have to deal with the population reaction during and after management of the crisis. I remember in 2005, we had the annual meeting of WSmart in Montreal, and Michel Gagné, the director of Montreal, told us about the story that happened there in 2003 with the ice storm. The ice storm went during the winter, and all the power cable went down. Because the cable went down, there was no power for the treatment plants, and they were knowing already that the production will be out for a long time. But they still had reserves, drinking water reserve in storage tanks. So they imagined that the good reaction would be to tell the population, hey, we have a problem, you should restrain from using water, and then you will have water for a longer time. And what happened after that was the contrary. There was an enormous demand, because everyone rushed to the bathroom and fill in the bathtub in order to get its own reserve. So we have to understand the way our consumers are working. About national and international cooperation, it is clear that we have, and this is the purpose of the WSmart, to get this international cooperation, because we can't now stand to wait on our own experience to improve ourselves. We have to take the experience of others, and this is the idea of this global alliance also, is to take the advantage of a group and not being alone. So the WSmart has been presented. The IWS Specialist Group also, and I want to stand also some works being done at the moment at the ISO level for the standardization of crisis management of water utilities. But in all those cooperation, where are the end users? This is the question. And I want to just to give you some information about the IWS Specialist Group working on this, and presently on the Measure of Consumers Initiative. What is it? It just comes out from a statement that the standard normal operation, wherever in the world, is generally known, even if it's different from a city to another. It's known in terms of pressure, availability, quantity, and quality. Now, when we are under a crisis situation, the standards, these normal standards, won't be attained. And there are many possible levels of degradation of the service, not only when it just happened, but also during the restoration process. And what are the consequences of the degradation of the water service for the end users? We can categorize some of these users. For example, domestic users, they need water in quantity, but possibly of poor quality if there are boiling alerts, and if we ask them to make the water boil before ingesting it. And with this precaution, there may be no health consequences. The bakers, very important in France. The bakers, if they cannot cook their bread, really, you've got to understand that this is something that matters for the government. Because if you you have your own baguette every morning, your spirit is much better. So, but what is important about bakers, not because they are doing bread, it's because they use water during nights to sell their bread in the morning. So they use water during the nights. That means that they are not using water at the time where this production is used, can be competing with others. So in a certain way, it's possible to give them water. Health centers, of course, we know that in order for a hospital to work, it needs three things. It needs power supply, it needs access to take the people there, and it needs water supply. If one of the three elements lacks, misses, then the hospital has to be evacuated. And when you have the consequences of a natural hazard of a big event that touches not only water supply but also power supply, you have to understand that it may be interesting not to put forces on the restoration of water supply to a place where if there is no power supply, there is no need at the moment. And at the end, we have also industrial users. They have an industrial process in their use of this water, depends depending on quality or pressure, which may not be absolutely necessary. And for this reason, they may be the first one to be restored in some aspects. So, a major consumer initiative is the response management under crisis situation, should aim at lowering the effects of the crisis on the end users, and in their effort to restore the water supply that has been impacted, the utilities have to make choices and to define priorities for action. And in order to be more efficient, we need to know better the consequences of the degradation on customers. It's easier to start with the major consumers. That's the idea.